Hello everyone. I've attended 4 TEDx events before. I've been sitting where you all are sitting right now, and I've always wondered if I'd get the chance to come and stand on this red carpet someday. So now that I'm here, I just need a moment to take this in. And I want to thank the DAIS team for inviting me here. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. You've probably heard this before. Today, I'm going to tell you my story of how I took the initiative and the first few steps towards achieving my dreams. So it all goes back to when I was 13 years old in school. Like most of you here, I faced study pressure, I faced living up to my parents' expectations, I faced keeping up with the trends, I faced keeping up to pretend to play football. I dealt with all these things. And there was one thing that I loved about my school, and that was that we had a hobby aeromodeling class. We built model airplanes and we flew them at really fast speeds with actual fuel, and it's like really complicated sport. And this was my passion. This was what made me go to school. This was what kept me going, and this was like the thing that my life was looking forward to. I thought this was the career I was probably going to go into. The class at school was run by a teacher who never charged us any money for the class. He would fund everything himself. All he wanted was passionate students. So at the beginning of the year, there'd be 60 to 100 students who'd join up, and at the end, there'd be 3 or 4 children left. Whether it was raining, whether it was flooded, whether I happened to be in another city, no matter what happened, I would be there for this class. I was also the last person to leave class. I would be that guy who would clean the planes, remove the oil, remove the dirt, remove the sand, check the tires. I'd be the last guy to leave. And so it happens, one Friday, after this class, I go home and I just start surfing through the internet, and I come across this article about making websites. And I just come back from the class, and all that was in my mind were the planes and aviation, air modeling, only that was going on. And I came home and I read these articles about making websites, and the only 2 things that that were going on in my mind was aviation website, aviation website. That's all I could think about. The next few weeks, I literally didn't get sleep. All I could think about was this. I went online, researched for a few weeks. I checked were there aviation databases where you could learn about aviation physics like Bernoulli's principle, wind tunnel. Can you learn about aircraft manufacturers, make, models? There was no central place where I could find all this information. And I was 13 years old then, and I just decided that I'm going to do this. I had no web development knowledge. I didn't know HTML. I didn't know what a server was. I had no clue what to do. So I started reading about how to learn and code in HTML. I got somewhere decent. And then I realized that, I can start a website. I can probably get a semi-decent design going and everything, but where do I get the content from? So the next 1 year, literally this was my scene for the next 1 year. I would mail hundreds of people who owned aviation websites around the globe. And I'd request them, hi, can I use your information? Please, could I use your image? I'm trying to do something here. It would be great if you could, give me a chance to use your content. This went on for a year. After a while, my parents told me, beta, this is a hobby. Now enough of it. You have to concentrate on studies. So after a year, I ended up selling the website for almost 25% profit at what I'd, put into it. But it wasn't about the money. It was that my life's first real project, the first thing I'd ever really truly done in my life had, taken off, and the initiative had paid off. There were 2 really important things I learned over this entire 1-year period. One was, entrepreneurship isn't about just going out there, doing something better than what someone else does. It isn't about doing something for the heck of it. It isn't because you don't want to be an employee. It's not about all that. It's about finding a gap and solving a problem. And I didn't realize I was doing that at that age, but what I did was I found a problem that there was no aviation central database at that time where you could get all the information you wanted, and I solved that problem. The second thing was, content is everything. You may have a great design, you may have great marketing, you may have talent in place, you may have everything. But what matters the most is your content. People come to your website or your product or your service, it's only to gain value. It's only when you provide something that they need. So then around 6 months went by, and the 10th grade board exams came up. It's somewhere most of you have been, all of you have been. And My parents were behind my back. Beta, you have to get into some good South Bombay college. You have to do well. My friends, they were way ahead of me. They were 3/4 done with their portion. The girl I liked, she was like on her second revision, and I was nowhere to begin with. But in school, the few people who knew about my aviation website, they were asking me, Farrhad, how did you do this? Can we do it? Is there a guide online? Can you teach us? And this really got me thinking that, there are a lot of people out there who are interested in this very same thing. So 5 days before my board exams, I decided to create a blog that teaches people how to make a sustainable income online. And the board exam started. The English paper was the first paper. My schedule throughout that month, it was literally go give the paper, come home, study a little, update the blog. Give the paper, study a little, update the blog. At the end of it, there were almost 10 posts on that blog, and each post had 75 responses. And again, I was like 14 or something at that time, and this was a great feeling. 50 of those responses would be, thank you for sharing this information. This has really helped us. This is going to, help me kickstart something in the future. That's what people were saying. But the other 25 comments would be that you did it this way, but there's a better way to do it. And they'd actually show me better methods to do what I'd done, better ways to improvise on the online marketing tactics I'd used, and that really helped me. So the board exams went through. The geography paper was the last paper. I went out with my friends, did whatever we do after the board exams, and came home. And I opened my mail, and suddenly there's this mail from this South African digital marketer, and she's interested in buying my blog because of the content. And all I could think of was like, what? Like, that's all that was coming to my mind. My board exams are over, I'm coming home, and someone wants to buy my project, which I just started, that month. And that was a great feeling. Again, it wasn't money, it wasn't, that I've got some level of success at that age. It was that the initiative I took, it paid off. Like, it didn't go off for nothing. And that's what truly, truly mattered and made a difference to me. So by this time, I realized I'm going somewhere. I like this internet industry. I'm doing something, and I may want to continue this. But I also realized that the skills I have were seriously lacking on a global level. On a global level, I was nowhere. In my school, I was amazing. I was probably the best web developer. But on a global level, I was nowhere. So what I decided to do was form a small community, a small forum, where people who are interested in web development can come and interact. It could be someone who has a website, wants to make a website, is interested in learning about Twitter. Whatever it was related to the internet, you can come and discuss it here. So a few months went by. The forum wasn't too large, but there were many active members. And the entire point we had with this, we formed a team later, and the entire point that was there was to make sure the content is worth in gold. At the 6-month mark, there was someone from Indonesia who was teaching search engine optimization. There was someone from UK teaching social media and how to use Twitter. This was when Twitter was really new. There was someone from Spain who was teaching design and code. So the environment, the entire environment, how we were collaborating, what we were learning from each other, and where people were correcting our mistakes, this entire environment was great, and there was so much to learn out here. And like I said, the content was what we were going after. A year down the line, one day I'm on Yahoo Messenger, and this buzz just pops up. This guy, Will Spencer, he owns one of the largest web development communities in the world, and he just makes me an offer, just like that I want to merge with you. And it just happened. And again, my point comes out that content is what matters. So what I learned from this were two very essential things which have played a part in my entire journey of entrepreneurship till now. One, if you have certain skills, you have certain knowledge, just feel free to go out there and share it with the world. You'll be surprised what the world will give you back in return. The second thing, no matter how much you learn, no matter how many skills you have, no matter where you get in life, there's always going to be someone who knows more than you. So one real advice I would have for you all is that identify your skill sets. Figure out what you're good at, figure out what your passions are, and just figure that out and find people who complement these skills and find people who can help you out in life with these skills. That's really essential. You need support. There's no one who can get somewhere in life without some form of support. So then another year went back. It was August in 2009, 5 months after my board exam results. And I was thinking, like, I've had 3-4 online projects so far. They've been successful. I've made decent amount of money. If I'm doing it for myself, why can't I do this for others? From that moment, the only thought that came into my mind was that I want to develop websites for others. So this was divided into 2 processes. The first was getting the clients. Second was building the talent and the team. So the clients part, I spent almost 1 month, almost from Churchgate to Pune, going for 20 to 30 meetings and trying to get potential clients. At the end of the 1 month, the only client I had was my dentist. So then I realized that however easy you think things are, it's never like that. The second part was building the team. I spent over a month chatting with web developers, designers, programmers, right from Ukraine, Estonia, Indonesia, everywhere, and trying to get them on board. At that time, I didn't have any money. I couldn't offer them money. I couldn't offer them salaries, anything, no perks, nothing. All I could say is that I have a dream, and if y'all have faith in me and y'all can believe in me, we should do this together, and I'm sure this is going to work out. So that went on for around 3 years. So now today, like here, right, where I am, 6 years after that first aviation website, that life's first real project in school when I was 13, I founded a brand called Acidwala, and we focus on 3 things: web, entertainment, and import-export. And in these last 6 years, we've worked with Padma Shri recipients, national award winners, government bodies, public sector units, and even foreign governments. So now here I am. I want to sum up my talk with 4 things I wish I knew what I knew when I was 13. If I knew these 4 things, my life would have been easier. Things would have been easier. I would have gone more ahead in life, something like that. The 4 things are capital. A lot of us think that to start a company, we need capital, we need infrastructure, we need investment. It's not really that. All we need is an idea and the faith in ourselves that we can get that idea to reality. Even if people turn you down and all, it's not because they think your idea is stupid, or it's not because they think you can't do it. It's just that they don't see what you see. And you're the only one who's going to see that. So what you have to do is just figure out, without the resources also, how do you make your idea into reality? I did it with starting learning to code HTML, starting one website. It started all from there. And all you have to figure out is what's your first step. Second thing is time. All these projects that I've done them through school, through college, through work, through everything. And there's never been a chance where I could have given an excuse that I don't have the time to do this. It's never been the case. You, me, all of us in this room, Shah Rukh Khan, Sania Nehwal, Einstein, we all have 24 hours in a day. What makes us different is how we use those 24 hours. It could be by pulling off 16-hour work days, not attending parties, sitting in front of your computer the whole day, however it is. But you have those 24 hours. And what matters and what makes each of us in this room different is how we use those 24 hours. The third thing is money. Money is not equal to success. A lot of people think if you have money, that's when you're successful. It's not that when you're an entrepreneur. When you're an entrepreneur, just the fact that your idea has come into reality. People out there, the public, have your product, they have your service, they're using your service. That's what makes you feel great. And that's what defines success. The last thing is failure. Failure is the stepping stone to success. Most of us have heard that. It's easy for me to stand here and say, I know you all are thinking that. But the fact is, I can't put a number to it, but in my life, I've at least failed 2,000 times. Like, I have no doubt there. And I'm still not where I want to be. The day I'll be where I want to be is probably when I've failed 10,000 times. I also happen to be one of those people who's more scared of public speaking than death. And yet I'm here. The only reason I'm here is that I'm going to take the initiative, come here, take the experience home. Whether this talk turns out to be good, whether y'all like me or not, the experience is always going to be there with me, and I'll always have it in me that I took that step. I've taken the first step, I've taken a few steps, but I know for a fact I'm not where I want to be. And the only way I can get there is by taking initiative every single day. You may fall 1,000 times, but what really matters is getting up 1,001 times. That's what makes each one of us different. Thank you.